Chosen one, I need you to pause for a moment and look deep inside. Be completely honest with the truth that rests within your soul. Have you ever encountered an individual who seemed to completely recalibrate your inner world? I'm not talking about superficial infatuation, or the kind of fleeting crush that disappears with the next distraction. I am speaking of an irresistible, profound pull, a spiritual magnetism so powerful that despite every attempt you make to dismiss it, to rationalize it, or to simply move on, the presence of this person keeps drawing you back. You have exhausted every logical argument, you've prayed for closure, you've even convinced yourself that the chapter is finally closed. Yet, that unseen, undeniable force remains, binding your spirit to theirs. It's in those solitary, unguarded moments that a pivotal question rises. Is this my own emotional weakness? Is this merely wishful thinking? Or is this a profound, subtle whisper directly from the divine? Chosen one, please settle your spirit and listen intently to this sacred truth. The Creator of the universe does not engage in frivolous matters concerning the human heart. He does not engineer deep, intricate soul ties merely for a temporary emotional experience. When the architecture of heaven designs a connection between two individuals, it is never an accident. It is because that specific bond is intrinsically woven with a higher purpose, a shared mission, and a precise divine timing. Today, right now, I am going to unveil 5 distinct prophetic signals that serve as unmistakable evidence that God Himself has hand-selected a particular soul to navigate this journey of destiny alongside you. This is far beyond the scope of passing affection or human desire. This is about the true alignment of destinies. If you commit to staying with me until the very conclusion of this powerful message, your inner eyes will be open to revelations that many people spend their entire lives searching for without success. You will finally grasp the spiritual reason why this connection refuses to dissolve, why it persists in haunting your prayers, and why a deep, unwavering conviction inside you keeps affirming, it is not over. But before we fully immerse ourselves in this profound unveiling, I require a spiritual action from you. If you are sensing the truth of this message penetrating your spirit right now, I ask you to activate your faith by hitting that like button. If you know, deep down, that you are an integral part of this remnant, this spiritual army of chosen ones, then ensure you are subscribed so that you do not miss the continual outpouring of revelations that heaven is releasing. Furthermore, I want you to make a powerful prophetic declaration in the comments section below. Type the number 99. Why 99? It signifies that heaven is willing to temporarily set aside the 99 lesser concerns to focus entirely on bringing forth the one essential connection that is tied directly to your divine destiny. Comment 99 as a spiritual act of readiness for this monumental clarity. Now, let us venture into the depths. What you are about to receive will fundamentally and forever alter how you perceive this person and your shared path. Chosen one, allow me to share a foundational spiritual truth that is often overlooked. The quiet, recurring coincidences in your life are, in reality, the subtle fingerprints of God's sovereign hand. You have sincerely attempted to move past this person. You have closed the book, convinced your heart, it is finished, I am free to move on. But then, when your guard is lowest and you least expect it, the pattern reasserts itself. A spontaneous scroll through a feed, and their face appears. You enter a location you've never visited before, and there they are. You awaken from a dream, and the sound of their name is a clear echo in your mind. Chosen one, I assure you, these are not mere accidents. They are not random statistical anomalies or glitches in the matrix. They are meticulously divine appointments, precisely orchestrated by the supreme choreographer of life, heaven itself. When the divine intends to bring two souls into lasting union, He does not require loud, dramatic fanfare. He does not need to dispatch a host of angels with trumpets blazing. Instead, He communicates through unmistakable patterns, through precise timings, and through the beautiful, intricate choreography of life that may appear insignificant to the physical eye, but resonates like thunder to the spiritually discerning heart. Do you wonder why it seems that just as you are about to completely erase their memory, life finds a way to draw you back into their orbit? This happens because your connection is not merely anchored to fickle emotions which come and go. It is anchored to an eternal purpose, and a true divine purpose does not expire or fade when temporary feelings wane. It patiently waits, it subtly aligns, and it powerfully reactivates the moment heaven decrees. The time is now. However, here lies a profound mystery. God's most vital divine connections often mask themselves behind layers of seeming inconvenience or awkwardness. You might meet during moments that feel ill-timed, or in situations that seem utterly mundane and insignificant. Yet, in the spiritual dimension, these encounters are much more than chance meetings. They are heaven's checkpoints. Each one serves as a confirmation, a subtle test, a gentle yet insistent reminder that the grand narrative of your shared journey has not yet reached its ultimate, final conclusion. Chosen one, remember this with unwavering conviction. God frequently permits temporary, painful separations not to destroy the bond, but to cultivate permanent, deep spiritual lessons. He allows the necessary distance to mold and shape your character. But when the perfect, appointed time arrives, He will powerfully bend the paths of your individual lives to guarantee that you cross paths again. And when that sacred crossing occurs, it will possess the unmistakable signature of divine precision, not random chance. Let me ask you directly, have you truly recognized how these recurring meetings are never truly casual? The conversations you share feel deeper, the simple silences between you are more eloquent, and even a basic greeting feels like a powerful, spiritual echo from a past you cannot logically explain. This profound experience occurs because your spirits possess a memory of recognition that transcends the boundaries of time and space. It is akin to a dormant soul memory being instantly reactivated the moment your eyes meet theirs. The universe is not playing emotional games with your heart, nor is it bringing you together merely for the sake of nostalgia. It is the very Holy Spirit recalibrating your focus toward an assignment that heaven has not yet deemed complete. Yet, here is a crucial warning that requires spiritual discernment. Not every powerful, intense connection you experience is necessarily of divine origin. This is why a refined sense of discernment is absolutely essential. When the connection is authentically from God, these encounters, though sometimes confusing externally, will ultimately leave you with a silent, unshakable peace settled deep within your spirit. Even when outward circumstances make no logical sense, your inner spirit will quietly and persistently whisper, "There is a greater meaning to this." This internal conviction is precisely why you are here, and why this particular message found its way to you today. The repeated encounters you've had are not life repeating itself aimlessly. It is heaven gently tapping your shoulder, urging you, "Pay attention, the story is not over. You are currently in a sacred, divine rehearsal." Chosen one, these repetitive, unexpected crossings are not unwelcome interruptions to your life. They are, in fact, divine rehearsals for a connection that is still being prepared and perfected behind the scenes. God is patiently training you to recognize His unique spiritual signature. He is deliberately aligning your heart to see past the purely visible, superficial circumstances. As you absorb this message, you are beginning the profound realization that what you once dismissed as mere coincidences, what you easily brushed off as random, mundane events, were actually prophetic breadcrumbs meticulously scattered to guide you back toward your ultimate assignment. But I must prepare you, these unique encounters are about to intensify significantly. This is because whenever God is on the verge of releasing a breakthrough, He amplifies the spiritual signals. Expect the utterly unexpected, and prepare your spirit accordingly. Because I promise you, this was never ever random. Chosen one, if you feel the power of this word deeply stirring something within your core, stay with me, because the next prophetic sign will reveal how this person's mere presence functions as a spiritual activator for your divine purpose. Even without the exchange of a single word, the spiritual narrative is about to deepen beyond anything you have imagined. Chosen one, listen to this next sign with intense clarity. This sign is definitively not concerned with temporary emotional rushes or the superficial thrill of feeling seen, desired, or externally admired. No, this second sign is all about soul ignition. There are many people who can make you feel wanted or provide a fleeting sense of entertainment. But then, there are those extremely rare souls who, seemingly without conscious effort, manage to ignite a profound spiritual fire deep inside your being. The moment they step into a room, the atmosphere perceptibly shifts. Your internal thought processes become sharper. Your prayers acquire a new level of boldness. Your heart, which may have been scattered and distracted, is suddenly and powerfully realigned with the very core of your divine purpose. Chosen one, it is vital to understand that this phenomenon is not emotional dependency. It is not about a psychological need for someone to make you feel whole or complete. This is pure spiritual activation. Grasp this truth. God does not introduce certain individuals into your life simply to keep you comfortable or cozy. He specifically dispatches certain souls into your path to wake you up, to resurrect the grand dreams you prematurely buried, to reignite the powerful visions you allowed the world to silence, and to forcefully propel you back into perfect alignment with heaven's masterful blueprint for your life. And perhaps the most compelling part of this sign is that they are not required to preach to you or deliver a motivational speech. Their presence alone is prophetic. Their inherent spiritual energy disrupts any stagnation within you. It powerfully pulls out the hidden warrior, the intercessor, and the visionary that the difficulties of life try to bury under layers of disappointment and distraction. Chosen one, have you ever become aware that when you are near this person, you suddenly feel a heightened consciousness of your true, authentic self? I am not speaking of the superficial version the world attempts to label or the version molded by past traumas. I mean the version of you that God spoke into existence before you were even conceived. This happens because their spirit is divinely coded to unlock specific parts of your ultimate destiny. This is an undeniable example of kingdom alignment. It is not merely superficial chemistry. Chemistry is fleeting and eventually fades, but when heaven is the one that forges a sacred connection, it completely transcends temporary emotions and taps directly into eternal, enduring purpose. You see, when God is the author of your life story, He will never pair you with someone who will allow you to simply settle for less. He pairs you with a soul who will provoke your spiritual growth, sharpen your spiritual discernment, and tirelessly mirror back to you the glorious image of who you are truly called to be in the spiritual realm. And here is the beautiful secret of this synergy. This activation is inherently mutual. It is never a one-sided experience. When you find yourselves in each other's presence, you both experience a powerful, divine synergy. Your respective spirits instantly recognize one another, and together, you begin to vibrate at a distinctly higher spiritual frequency. Your individual prayers gain incredible weight. Your dreams require their lost wings. Your shared purpose gains unstoppable momentum. Chosen one, the goal here is not to find a person to fill your personal weaknesses. It is about encountering a soul that is perfectly designed to complement your divine calling. You are two individual flames that, when brought together, burn exponentially brighter, not for selfish, personal gratification, but for profound, lasting kingdom impact. But a word of caution. This particular connection will not always feel emotionally safe in the way the world defines it, because this person is designed to challenge you. This challenge comes not through petty criticism, but through the sheer weight of their purposeful presence. You will feel an inner conviction to rise to a higher standard. You will feel stirred to confront the dormant areas of your life you've skillfully been avoiding. This is precisely what makes this unique connection simultaneously uncomfortable yet profoundly sacred. And it is within that sacred discomfort that God performs His greatest, most transformative work. The right connection will never lull you into a state of spiritual apathy. Instead, they will reawaken the parts of you that hell desperately hoped you would never discover. They will remind you of the prayers you gave up on, and of the promises you had mistakenly filed away as lost. Chosen one, here is the clear litmus test to know this is a God-ordained connection, even in complete silence, even without the necessity of physical touch. Their spiritual presence consistently sharpens your focus on God. You are not distracted, you are elevated. You don't feel diminished, you feel as though heaven is actively enlarging your spiritual territory. Perhaps, just perhaps, this profound potential is precisely why the enemy has waged such intense warfare to separate the two of you. He knew that if you ever stood side by side, truly aligned in your shared purpose, you would become an unstoppable spiritual force in this realm. Chosen one, you are not simply experiencing common emotions. You are powerfully sensing a divine frequency. Their presence is like a living mirror, powerfully reflecting back to you the warrior, the leader, and the intercessor that God has ultimately called you to be. And this is merely the commencement, because in the third sign, you will gain the understanding of why even the limitations of time, silence, and physical distance cannot successfully break a bond that was securely written in heaven's eternal archives before your birth. The connection you feel is not fragile, it is eternal. Chosen one, you must truly receive this next profound truth. The majority of human connections are inherently fragile. They inevitably shatter under the weight of distance. They quickly fade with the passing of silence. A minor misunderstanding or a few weeks of separation, and suddenly, it feels as if you were never truly known. But when God Himself is the intentional author of a connection, the bond is built upon an unshakable foundation that the limitations of time, silence, and distance are completely incapable of destroying. You see, the pattern in purely human relationships is the desperate need for constant validation. Text me back, prove you still care, don't let too much time pass or I'll forget you. But connections that are purely spiritual operate within a completely different realm. They do not suffer under absence, they mature within it. Chosen one, God intentionally allows certain seasons of separation, not with the intention of killing the sacred connection, but to refine and strengthen it. He does not unite souls for temporary, fleeting companionship. He forges bonds that are strategically designed to withstand the trials of storms, the emptiness of emotional deserts, and even the bitterest of silences. Perhaps this has been your own personal experience. Months or even years have passed. You have navigated seasons where the world forcefully tried to convince you that the relationship was completely over. But then, completely out of the blue, with zero warning, a memory is triggered. Their name resurfaces. A dream disrupts your sleep, and you realize it is not mere nostalgia, nor is it a sign of a weak heart. It is your spirit powerfully responding to a spiritual tether that heaven absolutely never allowed to be severed. Chosen one, you must understand this fundamental reality. When God is orchestrating your story, He is never anxious about distance. He does not panic during the periods of silence. He knows with certainty that what is securely built in the spirit realm cannot be undone by the finite limitations of time or physical space. The world's wisdom teaches that love inevitably fades when you are apart. However, in the kingdom of God, love actually matures in the wilderness. It develops deep, powerful roots beneath the surface of the earth. It learns how to breathe and thrive during necessary seasons of pruning. And when the divinely appointed moment finally arrives, the connection that successfully survived the distance becomes profoundly unshakable. You must come to the realization that this bond is not a human, emotional obsession. It is a powerful, spiritual tether, a covenant that transcends what your natural, physical eyes are capable of perceiving. Even when you both chose to walk separate paths, even when mistakes were made and hurtful words were exchanged, there remains something much deeper that has remained utterly untouched. That is not human attachment born of fear. That is the sacred preservation of a divine assignment. Chosen one, you are currently being trained by God to recognize and embody spiritual resilience. He permits the necessary pause to patiently teach you profound patience. He allows the silence to train your ears to hear His faint whispers. He uses the distance to demonstrate that physical proximity is not the ultimate proof of purpose. Obedience to his timing is the proof. Consider this deeply. There are many connections that crumble entirely at the first sign of genuine discomfort. Yet the person God has personally chosen for you, even in the complete absence of daily communication, your spirits remain in a deep, unspoken dialogue. Even when you cannot physically see each other, your respective missions are still actively intertwining in the unseen spiritual realm. The core strength of this bond is not measured by the frequency of your communication. It is measured by how profoundly you remain spiritually calibrated to each other's ultimate purpose. Sometimes the most powerful and transformative work God undertakes within a connection happens specifically in the seasons where you are apart. It is during these solitary times that He is actively working on each individual piece, meticulously refining character, healing deep wounds, and diligently preparing hearts. And here is the single most important empowering revelation. If God has allowed this specific connection to successfully survive everything that was strategically designed to break it, the time apart, the profound misunderstandings, the emotional deserts, then it is unequivocally because the assignment is still fully alive. The bond was never created for human convenience or comfort. It was deliberately created for powerful kingdom impact. Chosen one, this enduring connection is not a sign of weakness. It is not an indication that you are hopelessly stuck in the past. It is the spiritual evidence that you are securely tethered to a powerful future that heaven has already fully foreseen. When a sacred bond staunchly refuses to die, even when all logic dictates that it should have vanished, that is the moment you know this is not a product of emotional dependency. This is prophetic endurance. And here is a stern warning: the enemy is fully aware of this truth. That is precisely why he utilizes time to sow seeds of doubt in your mind. He exploits silence to make you question the bond's authenticity. But you must always remember this: God does not require noise or drama to perform His great work. He works most effectively in the profound quiet. He moves powerfully in the unseen realm. And when the perfect appointed time arrives, God will inevitably reconnect what He diligently preserved, not as a mere repeat of your past, but as a glorious rebirth into a shared, greater purpose. Chosen one, the unwavering bond you feel, the one that continuously pulses in your spirit despite the years, the silence, and the distance. That bond is a seed that was not destroyed. It was merely buried. And now it is poised to powerfully sprout forth in this specific season of divine alignment. Chosen one, prepare for a revelation that will fundamentally shift your entire perspective on this connection. It is crucial to understand that not everyone who expresses love for you is simultaneously aligned with your divine calling. Some people enter your life primarily to comfort your existing wounds, but others, the ones specifically dispatched by God, enter to powerfully awaken the dormant warrior within you. There are many connections that serve as distractions. They feel good in the moment, they skillfully fill emotional gaps, but deep down, you sense yourself drifting farther away from your true purpose. Your prayer life weakens, your grand vision becomes blurry. Your intense spiritual hunger is replaced by fleeting, temporary pleasures. But when God truly ordains a connection, it does not numb you, it powerfully ignites you. Chosen one, this person might not always deliver the words you desire to hear, but they undeniably carry the spiritual authority to mirror back to you the version of yourself you are ultimately called to become. They refuse to accept your self-imposed excuses. They do not comfortably accommodate your spiritual comfort zones. They possess a presence that essentially forces your spirit to rise to a higher plane. And the most fascinating part of this phenomenon is that this shift occurs not through long, drawn-out speeches or emotional manipulation. It is a powerful force that is subtle yet unstoppable. Simply being in their general orbit naturally recalibrates your spiritual focus. Suddenly, you find yourself praying with more depth. You are dreaming on a much grander scale. You begin seeing your divine assignment with a newfound, sharp clarity because their spirit is inherently wired to realign yours with heaven's eternal design. This is not a matter of manufactured chemistry. Chemistry can be skillfully faked with charm, superficial attention, or mere attraction, but what you are genuinely feeling is covenant activation. It is a powerful, divine synergy that transcends all mere human emotions. It stirs your higher